This story is the exact reason why to this day I don't change barbers. One day I was in dire need of a haircut. I'm not gonna lie, it was getting pretty bad, man. I damn near looked like a Mexican Rick Grimes with the long curly hair. I could have passed for a 1990s rock star if I'm being honest. Anyways, I usually don't struggle too much to get a haircut. I'm fortunate enough to have a family friend cut my hair if I ever need it, since she owns her own barber shop. However, there was just this one particular day where things just didn't go so smoothly. So on this day, I remember just being fed up with how long I let my hair grow. I realized pretty quickly that my Chewbacca days were just over and that it was finally time for a haircut. I call up the usual place and she tells me that she unfortunately is booked for the entire day. So now I'm left in a situation where I either wait until some day where she has more openings during the week or have a walk-in haircut at one of those places you see in random shopping plazas. You guys know the ones I'm talking about. So regretfully, out of sheer frustration and impulsive decisiveness, I said screw it and went for the walk-in option. Now I ended up choosing this one shop that I had previously tried out and actually had a good experience in. This was one of those shops where they keep notes of how you like to have your hair cut in case you end up with a different barber from before. That way, everyone's on the same page. So with all that context in mind, I wasn't too worried of something going wrong around the second time. Everything was going to be just fine, right? So I'm sitting at one of the stations at the shop and the barber is looking over my notes to see what I usually get. She confirms with me if a mid-fade is something that I still want. I tell her yes, and she starts with the process. Now before the barber actually started cutting my hair, I reminded her that I wanted a mid-fade starting from a 1 and to work her way up to a 3. So there's no confusion, I even gave very specific instructions to help her out. Wrote in a notepad, had it on a whiteboard, hell, even the back of my shirt had the instructions on it at that point. You'd think someone at that point would take the hint, right? Of how to cut the hair, right? No mames, way. She grabs the number 2 guard and just starts going at it. I feel her use the clippers all over the sides of my head. I had my head down, so all I could feel was a bunch of my hair falling off. It felt like she was giving me a straight up buzz cut. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure what she was going through that day, but I looked up into the mirror to see what was going on and check out the situation, and this lady had the most blank off switch stare on her face. She was lost deep in her thoughts. I realized that I was getting a haircut from an NPC. She ends up grabbing my head and tilting it back down, so now I can't see what's going on, but I can still feel more chunks of my hair being mowed down by the exact same guard. She then grabs my head and tilts it up to finish the sides, and bro, when I looked into the mirror to see the damage, I immediately got upset at myself for not bringing a hat because I looked like a damn tennis ball. The top wasn't long at all anymore. It was almost the same length as the sides. The sides all looked like peach fuzz, and most of all, my head just looked round as hell. I don't know what magic she pulled out of her ass that day, because anyone that knows me in real life knows that I have a very angular head shape, but this lady managed to somehow make my head look so round to the point that I damn near looked like Thomas the Train. And I'm sitting there thinking it's over, right? Lesson learned, don't come back, stick with your usual barber next time, blah 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 blah, right? As I'm thinking that, the lady inspects my hair and goes, oops, and just randomly busts a part of my hair with a size 1 guard. Of all times, you finally now chose to use the size 1 guard. What was the point of that? Did you just remember the fade haircut that I wanted? Where's the fade? Is it on my head? I don't see it. I'm sorry, but the only fade that was about to be seen was the one between the barber and I. How are you just gonna give me a damn near buzz cut and make a random attempt later to save the haircut? Then look me in the eye and say, we're done. It's the worst feeling in these moments when you're in the car driving back home and think back about how you looked at the barber straight in the eye, agreed that haircut is all good, walked out of the shop knowing you paid a decent amount of money for a haircut that a second grader would have, and now realize that you're going to be sporting a Zod haircut from Man of Steel for a good week. Just so we're all on the same page, I wanted something like this, but instead got something like this. Now, all jokes aside, I have nothing against the lady that messed up my hair that day. I'm sure she was probably going through something, or might have not gotten enough sleep and just had an off day. Been there, done that, so no hard feelings. We all make mistakes. With all that said and done, I still never went back, bro. I'm sorry. She did an awesome job the first time, but that second time just gave me PTSD. I was just too shooketh to even consider going back. But I do hope everything goes well for her, and if you guys have any haircut horror stories, feel free to tell your story in the comments. With all that said, thanks for watching the storytime video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.